Ora and Aroha from New Zealand. I hope you're well in whichever part of the world you are in. This is the rose that we'll be doing today. I'm painting this rose from a reference photo of mine. This rose is from a photo that I took of a floral bouquet that I received on Mother's Day. I use oil paper here, which is around 10.5 into 14.5 centimeters. And the paints that I use are rose madder, permanent magenta, titanium white, alizarin crimson, burnt umber, and black. This is the photo of some of the brushes that I use for my oil paintings. I usually buy them in sets and they have quite hard bristles. I'll put a list of the supplies that I use in the description box below. Just below this video, you'll see a drop-down arrow. If you click on it, you can go to the description box and it will give you more details about this video. This is an alla prima painting, which is wet on wet technique. I won't be waiting for the layers to dry in between, so I'll just be doing one paint over the other. I take burnt umber first and use on some of the petals, and then the next one that I take is rose madder and permanent magenta also. For the light parts I use titanium white, and for the darker parts I use black mixed with alizarin crimson. I don't use plain black for any of this painting. It's better to use something mixed with black rather than having a plain black, which is very stark. You can use burnt umber and black together, and that will give you a very dark shade also. For your reference photo, I'd encourage you to do it from a live rose rather than from a painting or from a photograph. You learn much more when you see the object live. However, if you do want to use reference photos, you get plenty on the internet from Pixabay or Pexels. Have a look properly to ensure that they are copyright free photos. Otherwise, you could be blamed for plagiarizing somebody else's photos or paintings. If you're visiting my channel for the first time, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like it, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell button to get future notifications. I put up weekly videos and sometimes more than one a week, so I hope you enjoy these videos. And to those who have been visiting my channel quite regularly, thank you so much, and I really appreciate the support that you have given, and that helps me to be motivated and create more videos. I'm using alizarin crimson mixed with burnt umber as well as of a little black for the darker portions, and now I'm going into, after painting the whole rose, now I'm going into using highlights and the darks for it. You don't need to do it this way. You have to spend a lot of time if you want to show the darks and lights. There are other ways of also drawing a rose. You can draw it in a very loose way, just with round circles and put the highlights, but I'm showing a different way today in oils, and you might have seen me doing the other way in watercolors. If you want to see more of my paintings, please visit Instagram, and my page is at brenrose.art, BRENROSE.art. You'll see a lot of my oil videos, oil paintings and watercolor paintings over there. Whilst I was doing this painting, at first I thought I'd leave it at this stage because it looks okay, and At times I've stopped and left it at this stage, but today, just for the sake of showing you all the way, I'm going further and building on more of the highlights, darks and lights. Some parts of this video will be on time lapse. If you see the painting going at a faster speed, that means I'm using time lapse. You could reduce the speed and set it to whatever preference you'd like it to. If you click on the three dots on the top right side of your video, so I worked up to this point to see the lights and the deep recesses of the flower of the rose, and now you could concentrate on building up the lights and the darks after you reach this stage. I take this brush which I just showed you before to blend in the oils. Just be careful when you use your brushes for oils, because you can't mix them with other mediums that you're painting with. So for instance, if you're using watercolor brushes, please don't mix them for oils, because you'll ruin your brushes. For blending, I use not the hard bristles, but a little bit softer brush, and blend it with very light strokes. It's as if you're just brushing off air. And every time that you blend a portion, it's okay in this painting because it's fully red, but if it's a different painting with light and dark hues, what happens is when you blend off some of the paint, you're dragging that paint into another section or another area which could be light or dark. So in that case, be very careful. Every time you airbrush it, just wipe it on a tissue paper and then brush again. And like I said, the brushing has to be like you're just grazing on the paper and not putting a lot of force. When you blend flowers or any other blending, you have to spend a lot of time in it. You could spend hours together. I took a long time for this painting, more than a couple of hours. But like I said before, you can stop it at any stage that you feel you're comfortable with. Now start the background of the flower. I'll be painting it mostly in greens and slight bit of yellow ochre, but mostly sap green. And I take a larger brush and to cover off the area first. I've used just a little bit of black to the sap green at the sides, just to make it look a little bit darker. I'll put on some music for you to relax and do your painting. And the music is from soundtracks on iMovies, and it's called Inner Glow by Hans Zimmer. Hope you enjoy it. If I have to say something about my process, I'll pitch in and let you know about it. I take a palette knife and just make some marks on the paper indicating some foliage and leaves in the background. You could use, if you don't have a palette knife, you could use toothpicks or any stick, even a wooden stick, branch of a tree from the garden or something like that. Now I'm using a soft tissue to blend. Um, like I said before, you can blend with a brush or you can even use a soft tissue to blend. It just gives you a different feel and makes it look like the rose is more in the foreground when you push the other paints in the background. I do a lot of application of paints and removal of paints just to get more of a dreamy look and a faraway look. Now I take titanium white and I start applying it to the petals to give more definition and form. So I still continue with the process of blending and switching between my lights and darks, and I'd really encourage you also to do that, even though at some point you feel like stopping. We are nearing the end of the video, and here very quickly in the places that I lifted off paint with the tissue paper, I'm using a brush to just make marks. There's no paint applied. I'm just using a brush, dry brush, and it just makes more lines in the paint. So once again, I thank you so much for watching this video till the end, and I do hope you practice some of these drawings that I put up, and let me know if you have any queries in the comments section below. And thank you so much again, and hope to see you soon.